You know, I've changed my mind about a lot of things over the years. Some of them are very important to me. And I didn't change my mind because somebody argued with me or told me I was wrong. I changed my mind because I finally decided to dig into it and get the facts for myself. I'm not always easy to convince. I like evidence. But here's the funny thing about evidence. Sometimes we don't reject the evidence because the evidence is weak. Sometimes we reject it because we're just comfortable where we're at. And some people think their opinion counts as evidence. Well, that doesn't work for me, especially when it comes to Brussels sprouts. I don't care how you cook them. My tongue cannot be deceived or convinced against its will. There's nothing you can do that'll ever change my mind. But, I've come up with a saying I like. I used to believe, but now I know. But there's a difference. And I wonder about that space between the two ideas. How do you get from believing something to actually knowing it? In my old business, if a valve leaked, the customer didn't want my opinion about why it leaked. They didn't want me to guess what the problem was. They wanted me to get into it and find out what was actually wrong. So I had to take it apart and inspect it so I would know what the actual problem was. And sometimes I found that what I had previously believed was quite different from what I actually found. So that leads me to wonder, what's the difference between evidence and opinion? How much evidence is enough, and is it the same for everybody? If somebody told you something you didn't believe, what would it take to convince you? Or more importantly, is there any evidence you would refuse to consider just because you were afraid of where it might lead? I've asked myself that question more than once, and honestly, I don't have a good answer. So what do you think? Tell me in the comments because, as always, I wonder.